Hey, welcome to Peep Show Talk, edition number 16. And today we're going to talk a lot of different stuff. World War II radios, Frontline Motorpool, a few other things. So we have Bossman Wylie, also known as Dustin, on. If you enjoy these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. If you don't like them, just go watch something else. Just go away. Just go away. You know, it's we don't if I don't want you here if you don't want to be here, so don't be here. So if you'd like to support the channel, I would suggest you can put a $20 bill in an envelope and mail it to me, or I take Jeep gift cards and stuff. But also these are all my different books that I've written. I've got 4 of them. War Pigeon is about World War II pigeons and all the different gear. And then my chaplain book is another one, shows all the different World War II chaplain gear. So let's welcome Bossman.
What's up, everybody? It's good to be on here, Tim.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks for joining me today. So tell me how you got into military vehicles.
Oh, well, it all started probably when I was a kid. My dad always was a mechanic when I was younger. And I got really into World War II history, finding out my grandfather served in World War II. He served all the way from Normandy to the Rhine. He was injured twice. So when I went through college, I ended up, for my final project, was to build a World War II Jeep. And I commemorated that Jeep to be my grandfather's Jeep. So we went from there. He was with the 26th Infantry Yankee Division, and then it was great, and it was a great learning experience. And then as I went through college again, I got familiarized with what I wanted to do with life, and basically I incorporated my Master ASE certification with my restoration technology certificates and diplomas I have, and mixed it into one, and I created a business in 2011.
Mm-hmm. So what's the business?
C&D auto repair and restoration. We started out as restoration, then we got into automotive in my area and stayed hot and heavy with that. And then I went back into restoration because that's what I enjoy. I took a quick break for a while. Since I have an automotive engineering degree, I ended up working for BMW and Mercedes as an engineer. And then I came back to the engineering or the automotive restoration world with my dad. We've always had a crew, but it's just us now.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of projects have you guys been working on?
Oh, we've got a bunch of them right now. We've got that 42 script, which is literally Team Frontlines. We have a kind of a M38 CJ3A kind of mix a customer brought in. It was painted up as a military vehicle, and he just wants it operational right now. We've got a CCKW, 1944 CCKW we're working on, with a whole radio shelter, an S280 shelter, or a communication shelter. We've got a 45 MB outside. We got another M38 outside. We've got trailers. We've got a P95 what needs to be worked on. You name it, we've got it lined up, and we're booked out usually about 6 to 9 months minimum.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So also I understand you work on radios.
Oh God, yeah. So I self-taught myself how to work on vintage electronics. Since most vehicles now are all electronic, and that was my specialty, is newer electronic systems like CAN bus systems, FlexRay, you name it. I decided to incorporate it with the older stuff, and I've always liked working on it. So I started working on them, started building a collection, and now I have personally over 300 radios. Yeah,
Wow.
and there was another gentleman on the Signal Corps group, which I'm a moderator of. He moved to Thailand. He worked on the West Coast, and I worked on the East Coast. So we split the customers 50-50, whatever we needed to do to help people out to get their vintage radios running. And he moved away. So I'm the only guy in the US with all the test equipment and knowledge of working on these. and everybody comes to me for that. And
Mhm.
it gets overwhelming because after a long day of working in the shop, I'm usually in the night working on radios.
Okay, so you're a guy, you restore your World War II Jeep, you go find a World War II radio somewhere, you stick it on your Jeep, and you turn it on. What's going to happen?
It better make noise. If uh in
Like
reality,
nothing that's been restored. What's going to happen?
oh, that's instantly you're gonna have problems. Normally the older radios have oil-filled capacitors or paper capacitors, we call or black beauties as we call them. They tend to leak and cause voltage spikes, henceforth causing radio failure, which causes other components to fail. So usually the standard way to fix those radios is to go ahead and replace all the capacitors, especially those, and check all the tubes, go through all those, do the whole realignment process for your transmitter and receiver side, check the discriminator, and make sure it's operational and functioning to 100%.
Mhm.
Because these radios back then, some of them had dynamotors like the BC 604, 603 tank sets. Those things could be putting out 200 to 300 volts, and sometimes if it's not regulated with the capacitors or the resistors bad, you're putting out 400 or 500 volts and you're killing it and
Mhm.
blowing up, frying out capacitors or frying a tube.
How difficult is it to get like tubes for those?
For the for tubes themselves, the retro ones like World War II era style, you can order them from like Tube Depot and other places like that, or hunt on eBay. But the problem is if you order them on eBay, they say they're tested. Hopefully, they're tested. A lot of
Yeah.
times they're either peaked or weak performance. My thing is, people find me, or I go out and find them with people with like hordes of tubes from older ham radio operators who passed away, or
Mhm.
and they usually say, we don't want this stuff, take it. And I'll take the tubes and I'll test them all and I'll restore radios with them. And I don't charge for the tubes because if they're given to me, I just give them back.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a auction place, Shulman Auctions in Kansas City, and they specialize in ham radio and military radio lots. So they'll go in and in a state sale and get all that stuff. And I bought a few things off of them before. So yeah, that's great. So what's the most common type of radio that you find yourself working on for people?
Uh, uh, BC 1000s, BC 611s, BC 654s, BC 659s. Those are your World War II common radios. What's really popular now is the VRC 12 series, which are the Mutt, Cuck V, and Humvee series radios.
Hmm.
And I rebuild a lot of those. I've got all the test equipment for them. I have a complete workbench with nothing but vintage military testers, equipment, you name it. And
Hmm.
I'm able to work on these. And it works quite well. Now, the newer stuff, finding parts for them, luckily, there was a place that was rebuilding them for the Afghani army because we handed down all our Vic 12 stuff to them.
Hmm.
And after the Afghan war ended, all that stuff became surplus. And me and this gentleman who had all the stuff made a negotiation on trade. And I ended up with a ton of literally 4 Connex containers of parts for these radios. So I've been assembling them as quick as I can. And a lot of them are just like empty shells that I'm building complete radios back together.
Hmm. So what are some of the common problems you run into with that series? I mean, they're solid state probably, so you don't have to worry about tubes.
Well, the Vic 12s actually on the RT 524 and 246, they actually have a tube for the transmitter circuit.
Okay.
Just a single tube. They rarely ever go bad, but the power supplies and the transistors and the power transformer go bad.
Hmm.
Um, there's also something, it's the K 401, 402, 403 relays. Those go bad all the time. Literally, if you have transmit issue, low audio circuit, you name it, it's usually tied with those relays. So that's most
Hmm.
common issue.
Interesting. So and I don't know if you know this, but I wrote a book about the history of CB radios, and
Oh, really?
That was my first book. It's called Crash the Gate Doing 98, Citizens Band Radio and American Culture. And the intent of the FCC going out of World War II was to take all this war surplus Army radio equipment and filter it out into the civilian public, and that could help equip everyone. But the thing that they didn't quite understand is the amount of maintenance and work and spare parts and things. So it just didn't work, because your average person without a ton of training couldn't just maintain one. Now the average end user soldier could turn it on and use it, but they couldn't fix it. There needed to be someone to repair it, and that's another reason why all those radio shops kind of popped up.
Yep.
All over the place, because there needed to be people skilled
All
to
the
fix that.
all the ex Signal Corps guys.
Yeah, and so that whole project just fell flat on its face by about 1947, and that's the very first part of my book. It kind of talks about that.
Oh, that's cool.
Of the Citizens Band radio service. But okay, so let's talk about Frontline Motorpool. So what is Frontline Motorpool?
Well, let's start from the beginning on Frontline. Frontline Motorpool originally started kind of as kind of like a small club. Basically, guys who were like me, who wanted to, ask questions, kind of think outside the box, really get in depth on their vehicles. We have a lot of purists on here as well, but we cover the motor pool aspect, how to fix these things with basic tools, using the correct logic of the TM versus easier methods that other people's find, and people post stuff up, tips, tricks, how-tos. That's how it all started. And then it came out to be people asking me, throughout the beginning of it, who do you buy parts from when you do restorations? So I sat back and I thought about it. So I called all the vendors that I used, and I said, let's go ahead and bring you on Frontline. They're like, well, we don't even have Facebook. Some of them, like Peter, didn't have Facebook at the time, and that's
DeBella.
Peter DeBella from DeBella Jeep Parts. And we finally got him online, and he was able to get on Frontline, and then I contacted Darcy Miller from MV Spares out of Australia, and then it started growing. I then contacted John Bazal from Midwest Military, because he dealt with the M series aspect, the M37s, the WC products, everything, and he sells my favorite paint, which is TM9 Ordnance, because it's a true automotive paint. It's not a acrylic enamel. It's really good paint. Then when I got the CCKW rolling, I heard all these things from the European guys who started joining Frontline, that there's a vendor out in Europe named David Wildenberg. And I'm like, all right. Sure enough, I started messaging him and talking back and forth, and we became really good friends. And he joined up, and we basically have a coalition of vendors working together to help the Frontline community get their parts. And from the reproduction side, finding the best quality fit, to finding NOS in their warehouses, to when a customer wants something, they'll go back and find it for them. And we have such a great network out there. And then we've had independent guys like TJ Zachman, Farrell Fox, Nick Hopper from All American Canvas. They joined up with Frontline, and basically it's like a one-stop place for all your vendor needs. And that's how Frontline kind of developed and became now. Now we're almost to 5,000 members, and we have a lot of content, a lot of active members. We have several moderators to keep everything going. We never have any complaints. And we do a lot of events during the COVID-19 beginning of the pandemic, when no one could go to events. I created Frontline Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim, you were a part of them, just like
Mm-hmm.
we had 20, 30, even 40 some nights of people who would come in
Mm-hmm. It was just
and
a big chat room, and
yeah,
people would log in and just check in with each other. It was part wellness check. It was part project wellness check
yeah,
to see how
asking
you're
how
doing
everybody's
and what needs you
doing.
have. And hey, I need this kind of part. Oh, I got one of those. And it was really, yeah, it was just kind of like a virtual weekly MV gathering, like a
Yeah, and
weekly
it was
club meeting.
great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and everybody joined in and we all talked and it was wonderful. We still have them every once in a while, but since COVID's died down, we're getting back into event season and we're all seeing each other again different ways and we hold
Mhm.
our own private events and stuff like that.
One of the things I really enjoyed would be the Wildenberg online events, and basically he would have a whole series of parts lined up, and he would just go around and just show what parts he had for sale, and then you could and he would shoot you a price on it. And actually, I bought a real cart off of that. I still haven't got it yet, but it's
It
supposedly
should
coming in a container here
it should be
soon.
right there under events. You
Yeah,
past
yeah.
events.
I'm. Can you see it?
Yeah, online events. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd go around, set up all the tables and the
Mhm.
frontline banners and everything. And it was wonderful. And he held 3 of those. And he had a big, huge vehicle sale, which was
Mhm.
great. And a lot of during COVID, I mean, most people didn't know who David was.
Yeah.
I mean, people here in the States don't know who David was until then. And then people started buying from him and learning that he carries, great products.
Yeah. A lot of the Lend Lease parts, especially for the larger vehicles. But he also has a pretty good line of Jeep stuff.
Oh, of course. The best part about that was over past August, we had a Frontline Motorpool Europe event. Um, since I was in Russia traveling, and on my way back, I decided to fly over to the Netherlands. And David had a cookout, everything, and we ended up um, having the first gathering for Frontline Motorpool Europe,
hmm
and it was spectacular. Yeah, ain't that cool? The 120 volt siren. Oh, that thing's a beast.
Yeah. So if anyone's curious, you can have this siren, and it's basically what, 950 euro. And my
Yeah,
guess, if you shot him 945, he'd probably take it.
I would say probably about 850. He would
Yeah.
take it. He had 2 of them, and he had one at the War and Peace show one time, and he barely started up, and it blared out the whole sound at the War and Peace show.
Oh, it's 907.50. So, but yeah, these were fun, and this was actually the British real cart. He had one American and I
Yeah,
think
the American one's up front.
uh, in his shop.
Yeah, you could see it
Oh,
right
I see
there.
it. Well, I'm sorry, you mean my cart?
Yeah, your card now.
That's my cart. But
Yep. I was
anyways,
there. I helped move them. Um, I've toured that whole facility and I stayed there and the CCKW parts I handpicked. And I can tell you right now, it was amazing. I can't wait to do it for Peter DeBella's place when I go up to Peter's
hmm
shop. That's hands down the most greatest thing to do is to see what the vendors actually carry and hold it in your hand and see what original products they have. Because, I've never seen such NOS stuff in my life. And going to David's shop was just amazing.
I'm gonna try and find the video and just play a little bit of it.
Yeah, it should be
If I
down some.
can. Uh, let's see here.
Yeah, it should be a little bit farther down. Yeah, there's me in a
Too
tank.
much of Andrew there.
There's me in the trenches.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right there's the barbecue and me and David Wildenberg's father right there.
Okay. The original Wildeberg.
Yep. His father originally started it.
Are these videos?
Yeah, these are all videos.
Okay, let me just keep going. And
And you could see Walter, you could see Troy. Troy is an amazing guy with a big heart, same as Walter and Andrew. Andrew's our M series guy. You have Troy is our Dodge guy for the older Dodges, and Jeep Guru, in my opinion. We've got so many moderators who fit the bill for so many different things, and they always assist with questions and comments. And
yeah, I wonder if it's on David's page. Let me look on David's Facebook page. Here, I'll do that on this screen.
Now, as you could see, a lot of these people on here on Frontline, which maybe you didn't know, Tim, but a lot of the people all over the world contact me on Messenger and with questions and comments about their Jeeps. Like, I can't seem to figure out how to fix this, or I'm not sure if I did this right. And I will literally stop what I'm doing and video chat them right then and there. And I will diagnose their Jeep or help them however I can. And I do that for no charge. I always help people. It's part of the Jeep community.
Okay. Whoops. Nope, not that one. Hold on. Let me move this over there. There we go. So this is David's page. And let's go down. And he had all these Jeeps that came in. Where did those Jeeps come from?
He bought them somewhere out west. He had 18 Jeeps.
Like, when you say Jeeps out west, are you talking like Western Holland or United States?
US.
Oh.
Yeah, he had 18 Jeeps shipped in, and I think he's only got 5 left.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah,
there's the rack.
Yeah, he's got a big collection of Jeeps and had his own personal collection is very nice as well.
And this was his Black Friday sale.
If you want to post it up, we can see it.
Yeah, here. We'll just do this capstan winch thing.
Which Troy ended up getting the capstan winch.
Did he?
It's here it's at my shop. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was looking at it, I'm like, it's a little bit much right now for me at this point. Again, CCKW or Chevy dump truck for sale, Cushman scooter. He had a bunch of interesting stuff.
Yeah, he was letting a lot of vehicles go because of the space, because he knew he was getting 18 Jeeps.
Oh, gotcha. I'm following. Let's just keep going down and see if I can find. I wonder if he still has it up.
I can't see it.
Is this June 20? That could be it. Here, let's see if he has like a media page. Photos. Let's go to the photos page. Ooh, 360-degree warehouse view. We'll have to go that here. We'll just do that instead. So we're inside. Ooh. Few GPs in there.
We're stuck on the front line still.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me stop it and restart it. Let's see this one. Or this one. There
we go. Yeah.
Okay. So there's what, like a WC21 looks like.
Yep.
Some GPs.
Oh, he's got tons of GPs, man.
There's a
World War I cart up top.
Yeah, I see that. That's cool. And then his shop. Which way you want to go?
If you want to go, okay, see that tank turret?
Yeah. Go down there.
We had to move that tank turret all the way to the back. Me and one of his employees, Ronnie. Oh man, that thing was a nightmare to move, and that thing would kill you in a heartbeat. But if you turn around, if you go, do a 180, keep going past the Jeeps.
Hold on.
All right, so when you turn, go that way. If you take a left, this takes you down all the aisles.
Oh, okay.
So you can look either way. Each aisle is comprised of different parts. So it goes all the way to the very back.
Mm-hmm.
And then up
That
front,
little lease part box right there.
oh, there's tons of that there. Now, all that stuff here is those to your left.
Oh, we're just kind of going backwards here. Oh, hold on. Let's go back this way.
Okay, so you see that green drawer right there in center?
This?
Yep. So left side there is all CCKW and Chevrolet and mix of Dodge. When you start going to your right is your Dodge and mixture of Jeep stuff. Yep. And then if you look up is all your Jeep stuff, M series, M38A1, World War II Jeeps. Now you're in the showroom.
Okay. I'm not sure how I got there, but we're in the showroom.
Yeah, that's his showroom. His my favorite coffee machine of all time right there. Oh yeah. I couldn't live without that machine, man.
Uh-huh.
While I was there. He's got a whole cutaway of a World War II CCKW transmission.
Right there.
Yep. And then up top is all your WC parts up top. And then all your stuff on the left is all your World War II Jeep stuff.
Okay. Cool. Cool. That's pretty interesting. Let's see videos. Here we go. Maybe I can find that. Is this him selling?
I think that was one of his Jeeps when I this past 6 Jeeps arrived, 2 already sold. There's the capstan winch. Oh, here's your sale. Welcome to Frontline Motorpool event.
Okay, so let me just kind of drop into the middle of this.
I didn't do it. I'm innocent. Only for the 3/4 ton Dutch, not for the half ton. Looks the same, but it's bigger. Half ton R1 is a little bit smaller.
Man, I lost a lot of weight since then.
70 euros.
No judgment.
Still a couple now.
Well, it's from drinking that high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go to this other one and just
click another day at the office.
This one
above. Yeah, that's a very good video.
Did the bomb truck sell?
I think it did.
Yeah, that's a beauty. I love it.
Yeah, he had all the spare parts and everything to finish it. It's a beautiful truck. When I was there last, it was still there. I loved it.
Yeah, that was super cool. But the 2-hour event here. I'll just drag in the middle of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Especially for heaters.
I'll drag around in here.
90 euros, 75. The 90 euros, 70.
Or I think the Jeep stuff.
Old Deutsch.
The Jeep parts are awesome. I'm glad you have a mix of everything for everybody here.
And over here for the big guys.
And this was way before I even had a slot.
Yeah.
Dodge parts and things like that. And
I think Jeep's in the beginning.
Yeah, Jeep's in the beginning. I'm just trying to give kind of a feeling for it.
Yeah.
Bow bracket, tops, and then there's that locking piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally figured out where that damn thing goes after like a year. Actually, I contacted him after. I'm like, where does this thing go? And
also for the top bows.
Yeah, how they mount in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, David has such a selection of stuff. That's why I went to visit him. Cool. My plan is here down the road is I'm still planning on going to Peter DeBella's shop at DeBella Jeep Parts and doing a live feed from there and a video from there.
Mm-hmm. Can you see it?
Yeah, I could see it.
Right.
and Peter carries some really awesome stuff. I've been using him since 2006 privately. I like, if you go right there at the if you go back one, his website's a little bit outdated, but it's still good. Go down, go to the premier parts, hit MBGPW right there in the center. Yep. So Peter's always constantly getting newer products, and just like these here, he got the new ignition coils, the 12 and 6 volt, which nobody has on the market yet.
I've got one.
You already got one already?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I think it looks really pretty sitting in the box right now. That's what I think.
So
now, one problem I did have when I ordered this is this drop-down menu can kind of mess with you a little bit, but so just be careful if you use that. Actually, any drop-down menus, but yeah, I liked it. It looked like a nice part. It's going to look great on my Slat.
So what I did is I've tested it on the my distributor tester. So I've got a distributor machine and distributor tester, and I was able to test its performance, and they actually exceed the ones you can buy at Napa and CarQuest.
Good.
So I'm seeing really good spark out of those. I'm very happy with them. As you could tell, he carries a wide variety of stuff, and now he's carrying SGI bodies. And man, they're phenomenal. You know, some people have said that they've had some issues with the bodies. When I was in Europe, matter of fact, you posted a picture earlier today of a Jeep in Belgium, the MA looking one. I went to that store. It's a military surplus store, but the guy there builds and restores Jeeps. He had SGI bodies. And I talked to him a little bit about the fitment and quality, and they were great. And I got to see him firsthand. Matter of fact, my Lend-Lease Jeep I'm building next personally is going to have an SGI body on it.
Yeah, I've got a number of parts from them, and so far so good. I've got a side panel coming from DeBella right now. In fact, my credit card was just charged. It was $275, and the total was $338, including shipping. So when do you think you're going to do that show with DeBella?
We're working on that right now. Since it's wintertime, and you know, down here it's still nice and warm, sort of, and up there it's like a frozen tundra. I think we're going to wait until spring before I head up to Washington. I mean, New York.
Yeah, because he's out on Long Island, out on the Long Island.
Yeah.
So, and if you've never seen, I did a video on the Slat windshield. I got one of his first ones, and then let me see. I'll show you what I ordered today. Here we go. Yeah, actually, I have these two pieces.
And they're great fit. They're the best on the market, hands down.
And then I ordered this today, so that'll be mating up with the cow step piece. So this was the 275 plus 338 total.
And I like how they drill the holes in them. That's the greatest part. Now, a lot of people kind of have mixed feelings about that, but to be completely honest with you, they did their homework on the measurements and to the originals, and SGI put a lot of effort into making sure that everything was correct. So yes, they fit perfectly. Like you. Well,
and I was just working on the passenger side right here. I'm looking at these holes like, yeah, those are right. Those are all the holes that should be there.
I mean, even if you put your original handle on, it matches up. Yeah. I haven't heard a complaint yet. And if I did, I would actually admit it. So I've been using him, like I said, since 2006. Peter's a great guy. You know, a lot of people sometimes have a hard time, you know, with his anger. Sometimes he gets grumpy, but as I always say, he's a New Yorker.
If you want to have fun with Pete, try and get in a long conversation with him when you're ordering something.
Oh, please don't. And if you do, tell him Tim sent you.
Yeah.
And charge the bill to Tim, and then he'll be okay. No,
Uh,
Pete's a great guy. He's very thorough, but the man gets so many orders a day, and that's the reason why he doesn't have an up-to-date website, is because his quantity changes all the time.
mhm.
So it's easier, for a new guy to call and be like, "Hello, Mr. DeBella, I'm needing this part." Okay, what are you working on? Well, half the time, you're not new to this, or if you're new to this, you don't know what you're working on or what you
Mhm.
need. So you say, "I have this thing on this flat fender Jeep." And he'll spend a little bit of time with you, work it out, and then he can be like, "Yes, I have this," or "No, I don't, but I know where you can get it."
Mhm.
And Peter's
Yeah.
very thorough like that, and that's what I love about Peter.
And
He,
that's the way Steve Art is with vintage power wagons. And in the middle of our talk, he talks quite a bit about how much time he takes with each customer just to make sure they're getting the right part, and also because they may be going overseas and shipping may be a ton of money, and you want to make sure you get it right. So
yeah, absolutely.
okay, so we've talked about David and Peter, and then the other one would be what, Darcy?
Yes. Okay. So if you haven't in the military vehicle world, for your World War II Jeep or Dodge or even your motorcycle, if you haven't tried any of the MV spare stuff, you're missing out. The reason I say that is Darcy has been doing this for 50 years. Darcy, matter of fact, me and him had a long conversation. When he started out on one of his products, we were, as an example, was the ring and chain set
Mhm.
for the top bows. When he first started out, he contacted a spring company, and come to find out, the guy who worked there worked on the assembly line during World War II, and said, "I exactly know what chain you need, and I exactly know who made it." And this was before, Land Before Time, when they used, fax and
When the same
telephone.
people still work there.
Yeah. And they had the original die set from World War II.
Hmm.
And he was able to produce his first set of chains that way. And 50 years of service to the community of the Jeep world. I mean, look at the stuff he makes.
Hmm.
And Darcy is actually a mechanical engineer.
Hmm.
He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Everything he makes, if you didn't know, is made to original spec, just like his switches, his any of his electronic components, for that matter. His horn could be taken apart and used like Troy did. Take the guts out of a reproduction and put it in an original, and it works. I made a video series on that.
Hmm.
Darcy's the only one who makes parts kits to rebuild originals.
Yeah, yeah, and I've noticed that about him, that he's got a lot of different options there for, like, when I was rebuilding my marker lights, or I'm getting ready to rebuild my marker lights. I got all the different parts from him. So yeah,
He's so dedicated in the community with this stuff. That's what's amazed me about Darcy. And people underestimate Darcy and his capability. And this man's been doing it for 50 years. And
well, I think because he's been around, people just kind of assume that they assume the level of quality, and they just don't understand what it takes to do this.
in all my restorations, I use Darcy's wiring harnesses and switches. And I'll tell you right now, they are the best on the market. I'm a big fan of them. Any of his, even his spring kits, happy as can be. I mean, right here next to my desk, I've got the 3/8 washer set sitting here from MV Spares.
Mm-hmm.
And
then if you want to get that stuff in the U.S., although it's sold through almost every vendor,
most vendors, and my father's actually a vendor. He sells MV Spares as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're on John Bazal's site, which is Midwest Military.
Right.
He sells MV spares as well. If you didn't know that.
Yeah, actually I've gotten most of my electrical components through him. In fact, I've got my wiring harness. Here's the marker light parts that I got.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, he's got a full inventory of MV spares on hand. We keep a small inventory on our shelf for stuff that we use here at the shop. And we go to events and sell, you know, some stuff, and we display with Frontline. But you know, most of the vendors now are working together. That's what we've created. Basically, like I said before, a coalition of vendors to work together. Now, John's a great guy. That he will help anybody in a heartbeat. When we held our raffle, he was the first one I called, and I didn't even have to finish my sentence. He says, "Don't worry, I got it. I got it covered."
Why don't we talk about the raffle?
Sure.
So what was the raffle?
Well, as you know, how over time we've, you know, being part of Frontline, you've been a member for a very long time.
Like
we've
2
only
years.
been up for, that's when we started, was 2 years ago. Basically what we are is like a family, kind of a group, family oriented. We care about each other. All of us have met one way or another through video, in person, at events. Well, came to the Denton show, which is a local North Carolina show to me, and we met for the first time. And he ended up getting into a accident at work. He's a paid firefighter. He was seriously injured. And while we were doing, you know, the discussion of things and me talking to his wife, I said, you know what? I know what it's like to be hurt at work. It's happened to me before. I know how long it takes for short-term disability and workers' comp to kick in. I said, let's get something going. And the first thing I did was called all the vendors. Like, I first called John. I didn't have to finish my sentence. He said, I'll have something out to you. Called Peter. I called David, then TJ Zachman, and then Nick Hopper. Everybody started contributing in and sending stuff in. And I started getting all this stuff. And everybody knew how much we, you know, care about the community, because our community, you know, that's small. And we turned this into a huge raffle to help them, and it was a huge success, absolutely huge success. And
how many different lots of items were there? Like,
there were 32 different items.
Yeah, and I think you can see the picture of all the different items that were in it. Yeah,
and a lot of people went for the Ford script stuff. And all the blackout light markers sold, the 24-volt coil, the 12-volt coil, the T90 main shaft. The biggest hit was the Ford script hubs and the early filterette, still in the Cosmoline.
Ooh.
Which is number 6. So we were able to raise enough money for him. With
how much money did get raised?
I want to say over $1,600 in just
that's fantastic.
And,
and it turned out well for me, because I ended up winning a stencil set from TJ Zachman, which I'm going to use on my slat. So the entry was $20. So basically I got a stencil set for $20. And like I say, I'm not sure how much he sells those for, but
a lot more than that.
A lot more than $20. So and there's still some items that weren't spoken for, so maybe we'll have another round.
Yeah, there's some items left that we're going to go ahead and do another raffle, just to help him out, you know, further along the way. He's going to be going back to work soon, so he still has a tooth problem and something with his vision still, but they're going to clear him from work soon. So I'm happy for that, and I'm glad we as a group could help another member out. Because if it was you, if it was Troy, if it was anybody on Frontline, I would help 100%. There's no questions asked. It's
Yeah.
it's the human thing to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the list of stuff, but well, here's some closer snapshots of some of the items. But
Yeah, those were made by TJ. Those were donated by General Taylor's.
mhm.
The filterette box and the pencil hook were donated by David Wildenberg,
Okay.
and the Ford hubs were donated by David Wildenberg.
Okay.
The wipers, the gas pedal, the brake hoses, the Ford GPA hoses, and the windshield brackets were all donated by General Taylor's.
Mm-hmm.
The felting kit was TJ Zachman. The hats were All American Canvas Works.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the next one, the straps were, the
Strap
number 18.
assembly.
Yep, that was donated by General Taylor's. And the blackout brackets were donated by Peter DeBella.
Okay.
The hood numbers, the bumper numbers, and the manual was donated by TJ. The slack grill welting there was donated by Farrell Fox.
Mm-hmm.
The service lights were donated by John Bazal.
Okay. And the hat from All American.
All American Canvas. The MB GPW seats were donated by John Bazal from Midwest Military.
Oh wow.
The 12-volt coil with stud was donated by Peter DeBella Jeep Parts.
Mm-hmm.
The main shaft was donated by Peter, and the amp gauge was donated by Peter.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And like I say, depending upon what goes in the second round, I'm probably going to throw some money into it, and maybe you can get a little bit more money. So
hey, it goes for a good cause. That's what we're here for. And a lot of this stuff, surprisingly, is going back to Europe.
Mm-hmm. So some of that stuff's going to have a lot of miles on it.
Oh yeah, from Europe back here to Europe. So
now I think you said that there's also a Frontline Motorpool Europe.
Yes. So when I was in the Netherlands last time in August and September, I ended up, doing the whole open house with David Wildenberg, and I traveled the country, like Netherlands, Belgium, with Jan and Fleur. They were employees of David's, and I went with Rob to go to Yoast's place, which is what I'm wearing right now. The shirt he gave me,
Mm-hmm.
if you can see it, sort of.
Sorry.
It's got the Pegasus. Basically, Joost has a restoration shop in the Netherlands, like myself. He works with his father, like me, and he has the same attitude towards the hobby as I do. And he wants just groups to get along, like what we've been trying to do. Get all the flat fender clubs to kind of not come under one umbrella, but we all kind of work together. And that's what he's doing in Europe, like we are. So I sat down with Joost one night and we talked, and I said, Joost, I want you to take over Frontline Motorpool Europe. And he's like, really? And I said, absolutely. So we talked about it. And since we have a new website coming out, which is going to be a cross between Facebook, TikTok, and basically a forum. So, there's chat rooms, there's like the forums where you can post stuff in, and videos series. You could even post, anybody could post.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be manuals, pictures. So if you decide to post up something like on your hand carts, this is how the bracket for the hand cart goes on. You take a picture, you upload it into that section, and it saves in an archive, and it shows how you did it. And then another person who's doing the same thing could do the same pictures as you or follow your representation. And all the manuals will be, PDF form, from that to all the motor pool manuals, the monthly manuals. So it's going to be great. We've got all the vendors support on this huge website, and there's going to be just all the vendor advertising there with all our stuff on there.
Mm-hmm. He said some of the main people in Frontline would be, I think Troy is one of them. I believe this is Troy.
That's Troy in kitty jail, as we say.
In kitty jail.
Yeah, I asked his wife if he bought another project. No, he was watching his kids, grandkids. Troy and I met. I want to say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we've been really good friends ever since.
Mm-hmm. Troy's great people. He's my first guest on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's number 1, episode 1. And actually, we're gonna get together again to kind of, he's gonna be a recurring guest, and we just haven't had time. And then I got distracted with a few other people. So,
yeah,
but he's on the list for coming back soon.
He's an amazing guy. He's got a wonderful heart and big heart. Mm-hmm. He's come up here several times. I've been down, a couple times down to him. And then, we met Walter together. He went up to Tennessee to sell a motor to Walter, and I live a couple hours from Tennessee, and we met up there, had dinner. Then we met up with Walter, and I met Walter and his wife, and that's where all our friendship came to be. And then Andrew was on as a moderator. He originally started out as just an average guy on Frontline, and we had nightly chats together, talking, questioning, and amazing guy. Between all the guys we have on there, Alfred's came to my shop. He's a moderator now as well. We call him Sarge. We have Thomas Pinkham. He's our head moderator. The reason we have him is, he keeps the peace, and he owns a WC just like you have in your background there. Mm-hmm. And he's like a brother to me. He's only 3 hours from me, and I've known him for, God, I want to say about 8 years, 7 or 8 years. And we have a wonderful team. We even have Dee Perini on as well. She's a female moderator, and she's got the passion and the Jeep bug like we do. Mm-hmm. So we.
Did she ever sell her MiG?
Her what?
She had a MiG.
Her MiG. Yeah. Yes.
MiG 17, I think it was.
Yeah, she was asking if anybody wanted to buy it, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Can we have it?" That didn't go over too well.
Well, it all depends upon the price. If it's like $1,000, then yeah, we can have a MiG. If it's $100,000, then
yeah,
I don't think a MiG 17 would be worth much more than that. But
I couldn't fly it anyway, and everything is in Cyrillic. Thank God my wife's Russian and can read it, so that's all that matters. She could rewrite everything.
Well, you could probably fly it. You just need that like phone app where you hold it up and what's this say?
Google Translate everything.
Yeah, Google Translate it while you're in there. What's this? Well, raised landing gear.
Yeah, because my Russian's still not good. We have a member on Frontline. His name is Kazakhstan. Mm-hmm. You've met him as well. He calls you. What does he call you? General. He calls you General.
He calls me Colonel.
Colonel Tim.
Yeah.
And
I would love to get him on here. I'm not sure how good like the Zoom Translate is. If it would be good enough to, I may have to try and call a call with him and talk about, because he's got a slack grill in Kazakhstan.
Yeah. We were supposed to meet each other in Moscow in past August, but due to the COVID restrictions, he was locked in the country. And then
Kazakhstan had a near revolution, and it was actually in his town.
Yeah, I was in Moscow at the time that was happening, and I wanted to meet up with him again. Sure enough, a revolution happened.
Yeah,
and Kaja is like a brother to me.
He's a good dude.
Oh, amazing! And we've talked about bringing him here to the United States and working with me because he's great. He's an amazing mechanic. One of the best I've ever seen, and I've worked with a lot of legends and a lot of great guys, and this man builds his own tools, his own welder. You know, he does what he can to survive and support himself and build his dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Somebody who, you know, puts the effort into work like that. And
Well, and
he's
how
just-
many World War II U.S. Jeeps are in Kazakhstan? Like 2?
3 or 4.
10 at the moment?
Maybe.
And he's got one of them. It's got what, a gas motor in it?
It's got a GAZ 67 engine with a GAZ 67 transmission.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a engine for him sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
We actually donated parts for him. So my first trip, I got parts for him, you know, the small parts, switches, gauges, and that's in Moscow in a box. The next thing is getting the engine and transmission shipped over.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna need a couple books of stamps for that.
Yeah, it's going to cost more than that. Than that, we'll have to get it shipped over. We were thinking of shipping it to David in the Netherlands and having it shipped down, and that would be the best bet to get it to Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is literally on the other side of the earth.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful country.
And basically in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they just got internet a few years ago.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. Kind of show people where he's at. Ultimate Kazakhstan. They have good potassium though. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me share screen. Can you see it?
Yep, Almaty.
I think he lives somewhere out on the western
He lives
town.
southeast. Southeast.
Oh,
Yep,
okay, so he's down in here somewhere. But
yeah, he lives up in the mountains.
Okay, but let's just kind of get a perspective. Okay, this is the border with, I believe, China
Mongolia
or Mongolia or Kyrgyzstan. It's actually Kyrgyzstan, and this is the border over here with Mongolia.
Yep,
I think it is. And then let's just keep backing out. So this is Kazakhstan right here. Good potassium. Yep. And then Russia is up here and Moscow's over here.
Yep. You have Uzbekistan.
And that's as far as I can go out. So he's really like due north of India, due west of China, due south of Russia. It's not the middle of nowhere, but you can see it from there.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful country. Same as Russia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start getting through Uzbekistan down into Afghanistan is when it starts becoming that desert.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Well, we've been going a while here. So, hey, good talking to you.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Anytime you ever want me back on, I'll gladly come back on. Maybe next time I could show some of the projects in the shop.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you have a new pride and joy in your life too.
I do. I've got my 3-month-old, and loving every minute of it. Taking care of her and my wife, and trying to start my new business. Keep on moving on.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, hey, thanks for dialing in, and let's see here. Hey, thanks for calling into the Peep Show, and thanks for watching the Peep Show today. And again, if you enjoy this, like, share, subscribe. If you don't like this show, then why are you still watching? We've been talking for like 45 minutes. And
don't forget to buy his book.
Yeah, you can buy a book. If you don't like the show, at least buy a book. And then you can hate me in a new way.
Or you can join Frontline and just hate him that way.
Yeah, although none of us hate anyone as much as we hate Rory.
Yeah, the I Hate Rory Club.
Yeah.
Are you a member?
Actually, well, if you would have seen the Rory episode, hold on, I have it here. Lost in a big pile of tax documents here. Yes. I am a card-carrying member. Right here. Okay.
Oh man. You're number 225. I still haven't got a card for membership.
Well, membership has benefits. So.
All right.
Okay,
well,
man.
I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yep. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining in. I will see you on the next one.